back to the work environment, and we're talking about the tracker and coordinate input. Here you can expand the tracker so that it shows you everything, um, and you can adjust where X, Y is. Is it relative to the tracker or to the origin? Um, and sometimes that's good if you're doing projects that aren't related to an origin. And you can adjust how it interacts. So it could be like typical CAD, or it could be more like a Mac where it's 1 and 2 versus 2, 2 and 2, 2, kind of double clicking. And you can adjust your rotation angles and the increments that it snaps to. And you can adjust how the software works and how efficient it is and what type of processing it will use when it's converting information. And you can, define where your logs are, and more information, which is like you can have preview data to the project files so that when you're looking through it in your Explorer or your Finder, you can see the project display a little picture. You can turn off sounds. You can launch a new instance when you're placing something into the layout, or when you're not launching a new instance when you're placing something in the layout. And then one thing I do personally is I do check this so that you launch a new instance when you're opening a project from the recent list. Typically when I'm opening a project, like if I double click on a project in my Finder or my Explorer, I want it to open a new project, especially if I have another project open, and I don't want it to close the project that I'm opening. So that's one thing that I do change. And you can change some other information about how the drawing will redraw. And I don't really adjust any of this at all. Just kind of keep it simple or stock, so it's easier to transition. So, and this is where your backups are saved and how safe you're saving your information. And this deals with teamwork, which is the multiple user kind of file sharing method. And this is dealing with your updates. And so basically through all these, I adjust this and then I adjust this. And what I do with these shortcuts is I actually have one that I've kind of maintained and brought forward. So I'm just going to apply that. And shortcuts are interesting. So you can go in here and go into the shortcuts and go to shortcut list in browser, and it'll show you all your shortcuts and what those command keys are. What I did when I was learning Archicad by myself and for the first time, is I printed all these out, and I just highlighted the ones that I knew and just got rid of, started to understand both what I knew and then also started to learn other ways to operate the software, because I would look at this and say, what is, switch methods, or, show floor plan, or things like that allowed me to be very proficient with like shortcuts and then understanding how to modify it again. And of course everybody can, improve on their knowledge base of a software a lot quicker if they have the ability to kind of review this shortcuts. And I find that just like any software, the shortcuts enable you to be a little bit faster. So let's just change a couple, or we'll just do that because I think this is an important key to understanding the software. So, so one thing that I've customized is this hide others. So when you want to create your own shortcut, you basically, this is the menu version, so you can go through and look at how this is set up here, and this will tell you how you'll be able to go in here and create that based on your menu. And then you have themes, so this will, based on what you're trying to achieve, this will be kind of the area that you would manipulate that. But I usually use this all commands by alphabetical order. And then when you click into this window here, you have to click in, and then you can type the first letter. So if I type H, it jumps to H, and now I can kind of figure it out. And I think because I'm using a Mac, I can do 2 letters. Let's see. So if I type in here, let's just type A, and let's just type actual. Now, so you actually still have to, you only get 1 letter when you type in here for the first time. So let's just do that one more time. So back to the keyboard shortcuts in the work environment, and then click into list, and then you go all commands by alphabetical order. And then I click in here once, and then if I type H, it'll jump to the H section. And then if I'm looking for a certain one, like I was, hide selection layers, I'll go in here, and if I type H, that becomes the shortcut command. So if I type Command H or Command F, that becomes it. So now I'm just going to make it H. So if I assign that, now H is the command that does the hide selections. So you can go through and adjust that as much as you want. And I have already done that for many years, and so I just have been keeping one. So once I make one, I'll just do a store as. And so since this is 20, let's just make it 20. And I can export that as well. And it's just an XML document. And I usually keep this in a email or in some cloud storage location that I can access from anywhere, so that if I'm ever jumping on somebody else's computer anywhere, I can just find this file or find the major file, this one, and install it, and I can be pretty comfortable on anybody's computer using this software. So, and then furthermore, there's a lot of other techniques in here, or a lot of other adjustments that you can make. You can adjust how these menus work, what's in those menus. You can adjust the information that you see within the selection sets. So for instance, these here, the tools setting dialog box, adjust when you double click on these elements here, what you see there. So like wall tool, this one looks like it's not showing no, it is showing layer. It's not showing listing information. So if we turn that on, it'll show listing information. So let's just look at that real quick. So let's go here. And so see here, it's brought up listing information. So now if I go back, and so I've created a shortcut to get to my work environment, because I actually do change my shortcuts, like, and modify them and figure out if they're the right ones, and so anyway, so here back to the wall tool, and if I take that off and I take these off, or even if I adjust the organization of that information and I say okay, I go to the wall tool, now it's only showing me those 2 pieces of information that I turned on and off. So this is good if you have some custom information that you like to see. Listing information is a good one. And again, there's more information that can be shown in this info box, which is at the top. And finally, the workspace scheme is how this looks. So I'm just going to redefine this. And then what that does is it tells me, or it tells the computer to update my scheme option information based on what it actually sees right now. And then this is the top information. So up here you can adjust what is in file or what is in any of these drop downs. You can put your custom information. I've seen people who have custom links here that they've created. So like if they have an internal help location, they can go here. So you can adjust this as you need to. But I wanted to cover this because this is the foundation from which you start to progress and understand the software, especially the shortcuts. So just please print these out if you don't know Archicad. Start there. Adjust your work environment so that you're seeing information that you understand, and then you can begin to better understand the software. And thanks for that. So we'll get started on the next lesson.